Hey everybody, welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 405. It's May 20th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Kelly Lynn.
And I'm Angel Michaud.
Hey, how are y'all?
Fantastic. It feels like forever since we've talked.
I know.
More than 3 days.
Yeah, I've missed you. It's been more than a day. Has it been more than a day? Did I talk to you yesterday? I can't remember. All my days run together. Anyways, what are we doing? Oh, we're doing what we did in Guns this week. What we did in Guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Centre, is Canada's premier firearm retailer. They got some good stuff going on, and I didn't put anything in here. Do you know anything that's happening at Calgary Shooting Centre, or what they got going on?
Yeah, the thing that I was looking at most recently here that the Calgary Shooting Centre had was they've got a PPU.
Mm-hmm.
The 7.92 by 33 Kurtz ammunition, which is pretty hard to find. So if you have an original like Sturmgewehr 44 and you were looking for ammo for it, Calgary Shooting Center's got you covered.
Mm-hmm. Go say hi to Jeff for us.
And buy some weird ammo. The price is even reasonable. Like I can't imagine you get a lot of demand for 7.92 by 33 Kurtz, but you can get it for $22 per box of 20 at the Calgary Shooting Centre, which is super duper decent.
Cool. All right, Adriel, what'd you do?
Let's see. I did a couple of things. I got my video out on the Keystone Mini Mosin.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so seriously, you put it out, and then one day later, it had 1.1 thousand views on it. Mm-hmm. It's like picking up.
Yeah.
Are your videos all like that? As soon as you actually put them out, you get a couple of thousand.
Like 1,000 views in a day. Yeah, something like that. Like for the non-gun stuff, no, because I feel like people don't want to watch that. As many people want to watch that. So it really varies depending on what it is. But if it's a gun, like there's not a lot of reviews out on that thing out there.
Yeah.
And that I think that was interesting for people. So
yeah. I started watching it and I saw and I said, okay, so this was released yesterday. And then I went, holy crap, you have actually over 1,000 views already. It's pretty good.
Just got to keep up the tempo. My kid wants to buy a VR headset thing, so
yeah,
I'm like, kid, I'll give you the stuff for every 3 days, but you got to keep up. And
you're pushing out the content. Like
I'm putting the time in too. I'm at the range pretty much every weekend to test all this stuff out.
Yeah, you know what? You can just stop with that, rubbing it in a bit, going to the range.
Your range is opening up soon, though, right?
2 days. In 2 days, we will be able to go to the range again. It's been a month and a half. Yay. Okay.
Well, that'll be nice.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah.
We'll all descend on the ranges. There'll be people everywhere, and it's going to be so warm and sunny too.
They're going to be so full. Like the first weekend they're open again, it's going to be insane.
Yeah. So I have to ask, how's the weather?
It'll get better soon.
Okay. I told you that it was 30 degrees today and sunny, eh?
That's too hot.
Tomorrow is the same thing. The next day is going to be the same thing. So it's going to be 30 degrees on the long weekend weather. And people will be at the range.
Oh, no, 30 is too hot. Like, I would rather go to the range when it's 5. It's 5 right now. I'd rather go to the range.
Yeah, but you got snow in mid-May.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, no. Okay.
I'm made for it. The guns are made for it.
Yeah, you got that sleeping bag that you can wear.
Mm-hmm. I'm covered in hair as well, so
okay, thanks for that. Too much information. Oh God.
I got some other YouTubing stuff. I picked up a postage scale. So I had been using like a really accurate kitchen scale, and then I have a digital fish scale that I've been using for like weighing different like guns and gun parts and that kind of thing. But the one of them didn't go low enough, the other one didn't go high enough. I'm like, screw this. Just get me a super accurate postage scale. So that's what I did, is just went and picked one of those up. So now all my gun weights that I put on my website are going to be like
accurate
down to the second decimal. Yeah. Second decimal point. And I also got an on-camera mic.
Oh, sorry.
No, not yet. Actually, the reason why I got this was I was looking at my analytics and I noticed that the vast majority of my viewers watch my videos on phones. So
Oh, okay.
like I got this stupid headset thing. The audio on it's fantastic, but this head-worn mic. It looks stupid. And most people are listening to me on speakers that look like that. And I'm
Yep.
pointing at my cell phone speaker, and
Yeah.
they're crappy. So so I'm just going to run a cell phone mic, and this also works for outdoor if you stick the fuzzy on there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just going to do that for my. It'll be like a little bit more echoey than my other ones, but again, most people are watching my videos on cell phones and they're using the cell phone speakers. It doesn't matter; it'll be fine. But I'll still get people complaining, anyways. And then I got
because
wood.
why? Because
Yeah,
all right.
And then I got wood.
Then you got wood. So show it. Not
I
the
got
rifle. Yeah.
there's one chunk there. That's the 4 stock. This is for my number 4 Mark 1.
Mhm.
I ordered a bunch of stuff from Numrich, and I ordered some stuff from Prestigious Stocks, and I thought like the Prestigious Stocks, like they're gonna make it, they're gonna send it out. It's like it'll probably be like a few weeks to a month, and it was the first thing that showed up.
Yeah, you ordered that. Was it last week or the week before?
Like a week and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
week and a half
quick.
ago.
How's the quality of it?
It's done. It's pretty good. There's a couple of like corners that I'm going to need to like. You have to fit these things, right?
Yep.
They're rough and whatnot. There's a couple spots where like there's a little bit chipping on the edge there, but I think I'm probably going to have to file it and to fit it anyway, so it'll probably be fine. One thing I didn't realize, so I was using the parts fiche on Numrich, and so I got the wood, I got all the little like parts that go along with it, but my buddy was telling me, did you get all the metal parts for the forn and that kind of thing? Yeah, I looked at the parts fiche and I got them all. You sure? Yeah, I got them. I did, because there's like little end caps and that kind of thing that go on the wood, and it's like I thought maybe like the band went over top of that or something like that, but not as soon as it arrived. I'm like, no, that needs a metal cap on it. So putting in another order with Numrich. Gotta get some more parts. But it's looking really good. I'm pretty excited. Like I took the old wood off of it. That old wood looks pretty good on it, but this stuff's gonna be better.
Yeah.
It's even in the rough, it looks really nice. And I've already test fitted a couple parts. I'm like, it's all nice and tight. So it's all like you gotta sand or you gotta chisel a little bit in order to get that thing fitted.
Yep.
But that's good. It just means that everything is going to be a nice tight fit on this thing, as tight as I want it, right?
Yeah. How are you gonna finish it?
Boiled linseed oil. Okay. And it's I'm hoping to use that Toronto elevator stuff, which is some defunct company, I'd imagine.
I actually no.
We'll see if it's spoiled.
It's still operational. Toronto elevator is still operational. They fixed elevators. I went and looked.
And apparently back in the day, they stained them.
Apparently.
Sorry, not stained. They applied boiled linseed oil on them.
Well, I'm sure that they did, because, the elevators way back when had the wood paneling. I'm sure. Anyways.
Yeah, got to put that linseed oil finish on there. Looks good. And then I sold a bunch of guns. I kind of collected all the guns I wanted to sell, took pictures, got prices, put it all on my website, put it on like Discord and my website and whatnot. And
you sold everything?
No, not everything, but I sold about half of it.
Okay.
Which is good. It's good. I got to like move some of this stuff out, so I got a chance to buy some more stuff.
Bring some more inventory in. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so I've been like packaging and mailing. I got like the Canada Post thing on my computer down to an art now. Use that postage scale. Oh baby, it's just like we're just ticking in here. It's shipping.
Yeah, you keep telling me I need to get one of those because of all the packages that I send out and standing in line for 2 hours.
You don't have to. I got a drive-through place. I'm gonna go right after the show today.
You have a drive-through place?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh!
And because the packages are already like I got the thing on there, I drive up to the window
and go here.
Stuff it through the window, and they're like, so can I help you, sir? I'm like, take it, and they take it, and I leave. There's no receipt. They don't scan it in. They're just like, thanks, and I just leave. It's the best. the less human interaction, the better.
Better. Last time I told you the last time that I was mailing stuff, it took me 2 hours. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
You gotta get. Oh, I'll send you the link to this scale. It does up to 100 pounds, and it's really accurate.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it will
send it to
save
me.
you time because then you just slap it on the thing, you take it to the
Yeah,
place, and you say, "Take this box."
dig it. Okay.
And if they say, "Sorry, I'm busy," you drop it on the floor and you walk out. That's their problem now.
Here. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
So I got to box some more stuff up, and I called the CFP like yesterday and today multiple times to do transfers and check pals and whatnot. And yeah, I'm probably going to be doing that for the next couple of days here, just shipping and whatnot. And I accidentally clicked on my link and showed it while Travis was doing that thing because I was clicking off and clicking on again. But yeah, gotta sell some stuff. Gotta move some stuff out.
Gotta move stuff so you can get some stuff in.
If anyone's interested, huntinggearguy.com. I got some good prices. OBO.
Okay. I'm going to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that
How
everything?
about you, Kelly? Yeah.
So yeah, you rubbed it in that the ranges are closed. But as of today, we got an announcement today that in 2 days they're going to be opening. But it's going to be limited to 5 people. And I think that's per bay. So I would assume that's per bay. But we can go to the ranges again. I got an email like a half an hour ago that's saying that the Trap and Skeets Club is opening and Napanee range is open. All my ranges are now officially open, so I'm going to get going. What else? Oh, and I just literally, as we're talking, I got a message from one of the executives at the club saying that there's a steel match on the 30th and there's a spot available if I want it. See, it's good to know.
Steel
people.
challenge?
Yeah, the steel challenge.
Oh, yeah. Have you done that before?
Oh, yeah. We've had fun. Yeah. So
so
I'm
good.
thinking,
So good.
yeah, let's do it. That being said, so it's 5 people. So I don't know how we're going to do this 5 people with a steel challenge. Must
per
be
squad.
Per squad.
5 people per squad.
Yeah. Anyways,
these are 5-person gatherings that are mobile.
Right. Exactly. So, but the other thing that's so I have my black badge course that's scheduled for the 11th of June. I'm not sure that's taking place. I'll have to figure that out because I think there's more than 10 people with the match director and that as well that does the black badge course. So I'm not sure.
That's
so
harder to do with 5.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. So June 14th, so what has happened is Ontario has stages and they're opening us up in stages. So for the first stage, which is happening in 2 days, it's limited. The ranges are open and it's 5 people. Outdoor gatherings is 5 people, unless you're dead, and then it can be 10, I guess. And then if you're whatever, anyways, and then June 14th is the next stage, and then it's going up to a limit of 10 people for outdoor events and sporting events. 10 people, that's it. But we'll figure it out and we'll get moving forward with that. But the biggest thing there is that gun ranges are now going to be open and you can go and shoot, and it's going to be great for mental health. I just need to, shoot something.
We're gonna have shooting matches in Alberta with more cases than you guys, way faster. My prediction.
Awesome.
My prediction, because they open up the schools on Tuesday. And,
our schools aren't open. So, anyways,
we'll get the shooting matches. I'll get the Maple Seeds up and running soon.
Okay, you know what? Stop.
I got one scheduled late June, like 24th or something like that. And I was like cautiously optimistic about that before. Now I'm like, nah, I'll probably squeeze one in before then too.
Oh,
if I can.
So the one that I have down in Mount Bridges, that's the one that's going to happen first, I think, for us.
May, right?
Yeah, no, it's June the 18th.
Oh yeah, you're definitely good for that.
Well, we had to cancel the one on May 30th, and the reason is because we were basically told that it was going to be extended another 2 weeks, and I reissued the refunds for everybody, and I'm not reorganizing it again. So, anyways, that's that. The other thing that we've been doing is actually with the Gunny Girl calendar, the squad, the ladies, the OG, as I like to call us, because we're the old gals, or the
Hmm.
original gangsters. I don't want to call us the old gals, but I'm pretty old. But the original gangsters. We went through the list and we're starting to let people know about whether they're going to be in the calendar or not. We had so many people apply this year. It was really hard, and I hate letting people down. But it happens. So, but what we've done is actually the Ontario event. We're having a couple of shoots in different areas. If we have enough girls to do it, so we're doing an Ontario shoot. We're doing an Alberta shoot. So we actually got together last night and we booked an Alberta shoot trip, or trip shoot, whatever. So we're going to be there in Alberta.
Going to Berta.
And we're coming to Berta. We're super excited. It's going to be in like, I'm starting to sound like Cher. It's going to be August, end of August. So I'm sure that we'll be able to actually get in there with no problem. So Alberta doesn't care about anything, so we'll just fly in. So yeah, getting super
You could
excited.
fly in right now.
I know.
They're definitely not going to care in August.
Yes, that's exactly it. So I can't go if it's going to be like 2 weeks isolation. I can't afford that at work. But we don't think that's going to happen. So we booked the plane tickets last night, booked car rental, sent some emails to some ladies. Oh, it's going to be so excited. And we're going on a road trip. The OG is going on a road trip. So that's super exciting. And that's about it. But I got to finish up the show quickly so they can go and reply to that email or that message that I just got sent. So that's it. Why don't we talk about upcoming events? Upcoming events is sponsored by TLS Alpha. TLS Alpha is a Canadian digital agency that works exclusively in the firearms vertical. They help with business processes, strategic planning, websites, e-commerce, and battling the stigma the industry carries with banks, merchant processors, and social media. Learn more at telosalpha.com. So while we're actually talking about this, Adriel's furiously typing away. So Adriel, why don't you tell us about some of the events that are...
Can you hear the typing? I have a really loud keyboard.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we just mentioned Maple Seeds. Those will be probably mid to late June.
Yeah.
3-gun. Chaz had a match scheduled for June, but we didn't take any registrations for it because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I bet that's going to be able to happen, but yeah, it's just a bet at this point. It's not actually open. Yeah. I don't actually know if it will open or not, but maybe mid June.
So with this flipping of the switch and reopening, I think that we can actually safely start planning some of the rest of the year. We've been
June, July, August, September. Yeah, we can go hard on those months.
Yeah. So we can start actually planning or communicating with the ranges again. They put a little bit of a hard stop on things until they figure out what's going on with us. So yeah. That's it. If you guys actually have some events that are going to be happening, just let us know about them and we'll promote them. We're happy to do that for you. News. CCFR legal donations. There hasn't been anything been posted recently. I'm sure that will actually change in the next couple of days, so we'll do that. Why don't you actually talk about the CCFR Legal Challenge fundraiser that we're currently doing in conjunction with the Grey Birch Solutions?
Yeah, we're trying to beat the CCFR's other legal fund donation channels, all of them combined, just with this one that we're putting on. We're doing that with a couple of CCFR engraved Grey Birch receivers. The deal is you make a donation to the CCFR Legal Challenge through their website, send us a photo of the donation, or go on over to Armory DC Gunsmith and make a donation there. And you'll be entered to potentially get a chance to win a Grey Birch CCFR engraved CLR receiver, which is a Gucci 0 MOA milled in rail 1022 receiver.
So we actually have a couple, not just one. We have a couple that we're giving away.
Did I say there was just one?
Yep.
Oh, there's a couple, and then there's also one with Denis.
No, that's it. So we got one with we got one with
3?
Denis and one with us. No, there's two.
There's two out there.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay. And they're a limited edition. They're all numbered. They're not hand engraved. They're laser engraved. So CC5.
That one probably had to press a button to engrave it. So it's kind of hand engraved.
A friend of mine actually, funny story, a friend of mine posted on Facebook today. He says, if you call your guns or your parts Gucci, I no longer have any respect for you.
I
You just said
do, and I will continue to use that word. Not even ironically, 100% serious.
Anyways, I just
But
giggled.
Gucci actually doesn't mean anything to me.
No.
Like if someone like I have a Gucci handbag, you're like I don't know what that means, and I don't care. You overpaid for a bag, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
It made me giggle on the inside when you said it. Yeah. You don't know.
Not this show, but the next show I'll try to use it as much as possible.
Okay. Challenge accepted. Why don't I tell everybody about okay, first of all, did we say the draw date? I was giggling inside about the Gucci.
Nope, I didn't even get down there far enough yet. So
Okay.
Grey Birch donated these receivers so we could put this contest on. So thanks go out to them, and thanks for the CCFR for putting on the legal challenge to take those bastards to court.
You bet.
Sue those bastards. Yep. The draw date is yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Don't worry, you don't have to say it. I can say it.
Okay.
The draw date is May 27th. That's next week. It's coming up quick. Right now, your odds would be
pretty
in
good.
Your favor. The odds would be in your favor right now if you were to donate, and pretty good odds.
Did you see what I just did? It's the Hunger Games. The odds are.
I watched the movies, but I didn't pay a lot of attention to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to make the reference, but I don't know the movie.
You got to watch the movie.
I guess. Anywho, that's what's up with that legal fundraiser.
So a couple people donated: Tom K, Trevor P, and Josh V this week.
Can I donate?
Sure, why not? Your money is good as anybody else's.
Will it look suspicious when I pick myself?
Absolutely. But no, if you actually donate, we will verify. We'll get Pricewaterhouse on here to show that we're actually doing this legit.
I don't know what I can do. I'll game the system.
Do you really want one?
Well, I have one.
I know. I was just.
I got one. I have the other one, the LER one.
Yeah, I'm going. Do you really want one?
I just like messing about on the show.
Okay. Do we really need to get Pricewaterhouse on the show, though? Are we just going to do random generator? Let's just.
Is that like Random House? Is that like some sort of like lottery? Authority?
Yeah. So either it's lottery or like the Oscars. They always don't at the Oscars. They always have the dude from Pricewaterhouse, and he comes on to say, "We verified these." Don't you remember?
Oscars aren't legitimate, though.
Well, yeah.
The lizard men pick those. Everyone knows that. That guy's just a fraud. He's just showing up to say, we verified that the lizard people said they had my wife.
That is correct.
I have to say that it's legit. Anyway, I don't know how this is related to gun stuff, but
I don't know either.
Let's get back onto something else.
Okay. Let's talk about New Gun Stuff. New Gun Stuff is sponsored by Bolt Action Coffee. Slamfire Radio is now a brand ambassador for Bolt Action Coffee. The coffee is roasted in small batches and quite honestly, some of the best coffee that you can get your hands on. Send it to your house by going to boltactioncoffee.com. Enter the discount code SLAMFIRE, and it's all caps and all one word, and you will get a discount and also get some really good coffee, by the way. It's really good. Anyways, what's new in guns?
The BCLs are out. The BCL Bisons. Share this window, and there it is. There's the Black Creek Labs MRX. It's a bolt action rifle that takes AR mags.
Interesting.
And AR stocks, because I guess you could put an AR mag in like one of those one of them Ruger rifles, or the Mossberg has one as well that takes AR mags.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts?
I will not buy version 1 or version 2 of anything like this.
I was just gonna ask. You're gonna wait?
Yeah, I'm sure other people will, though. I mean, there's less to go wrong on a bolt action rifle. But not version 1 for me. No, thank you. No. But it's out, and I think that's important to mention. Yep.
All right.
Next one I have here is Bullseye has a sale on CCI MIDI mag. So
I know. I'm super excited about this.
5,000 rounds. You got to buy 5,000, and it's $478, and you get 5,000 rounds of Mini Mag HB, which is this is the plated round nose one. So the Mini Mags, they'll have hollow point and then they have a round nose, and this is the round nose style.
Yeah, this is a style I like. And 5,000 at for yeah, this is good price. CCI Mini Mags. It's where you have the meeting of quality, a little bit of quality, a little bit of accuracy, and a little bit of price. So
And
and
reliability.
reliability. So
Reliability on these
everything
is usually
all
pretty good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so if people always ask me, okay, what should I be bringing to an event? What should I
Mhm.
actually? And I'm going, if you can get a CCI Minimax, like just get them,
Mhm.
and you won't be sorry.
And then this next one, you had a picture of yourself
I know.
shooting a rascal, and there was talk about like maybe like a rascal competition, and then
Yeah,
Wolverine put this out, and I'm like, oh, this got to be like this can't be a coincidence. It's the Rascal Target XP. So
yeah,
it's got a heavy barrel. It's got a
yeah,
heavy 16 and an eighth inch barrel,
yeah.
one piece Picatinny rail. It's a Savage bolt action single shot. There's a single shot, right?
It's a single shot. Yeah, it's a rascal with the
Yeah.
bipod.
With the
Two geyser.
bipod,
Yeah.
muzzle threaded, so you can put a brake on there, which you
Mhm.
will need to tame the recoil of that 22.
Yep.
A precision hardwood stock, which I'd imagine that's like the Boyd's Pro Hunter stock.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it comes with a scope. Comes with a
Yeah.
little baby scope on there, 4 by
Yeah. It's
32.
so cute.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I put this picture of me shooting a rascal. I was actually testing it out, see how accurate it was, and we have a bunch of them for our youth shooters. Anyways, and so one of our friends took it and put it on the CRPS site. And because Savage is actually a sponsor there, and he was talking about, as you said, a rascal. Of course, it's Rick, and he's going, "Let's do a rascal series." And then I actually put on there. I said, "Seriously, if money was not an object, how would you pimp out your rascal?" And I think they found it. A heavy
Hmm.
barrel. Like seriously.
You know what other thing would be fun with Maple Seed? Uh, time trials to riflemen. How fast can you shoot like a rapid fire MQT, score a rifleman in the minimum amount of time?
Oh
Or maybe
god,
we
that
need to do like hit factor shooting, like IPSC. Hit factor shooting with Maple Seed. Yes.
okay. Oh
No,
gosh. Yeah.
kind of deviating a little bit away from the original
Safe.
purpose of
Yeah.
of
Accuracy
marksmanship.
and
Yeah,
marksmanship and safety. Hmm.
the safety will still be there.
How fast can you do an MQT and score a rifleman and still no. Okay. Yeah. Actually, you do pretty fast.
Advanced.
Yes.
This next one. So a buddy of mine was ordering some stuff from True North Arms, and I looked. They have a whole pile of stuff for WKs, like all the parts. So if
Oh.
you break a part, or if you like accidentally dremeled one to death and need to buy some stuff, they've got all the stuff. The other thing they have is a whole bunch of Glock stuff and a bunch of stuff from the Glock store in the US. Glock store
Huh.
is like this kind of mecca for Glock performance parts in the US. So
Mhm.
they've got, if you would listen to the show maybe like 2 years ago, no, even more, 3 or 4, when I was Gucciing my Glock 34. I'm going to use it as a verb now.
Yeah.
One of the things I had done is I got this magwell that had a brass
Yes.
insert in it, and they're selling them at this isn't quite the same one, but they're selling a big mouth aluminum magwell for Glocks Gen 3 and 4 with, it says 3 pound, but it's a 3 ounce brass insert. A 3 pound brass insert would be something else.
Yeah.
Make your pistol into a 6 pound pistol. But
Yeah.
yeah, there it
What have you
is.
done with that
Mhm.
Glock, by the way?
I shoot
Still
I
got
shoot
it?
a match with it every once in a while with it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's not as good as my Shadow 2.
No.
Um, but it's all right. It works. It runs fine.
Yep.
Anyways, if you want to get one of these things, they come in blue, red, silver. Boring.
Every color of the rainbow.
Yeah, I wish I would like a hot pink one. I think if I
There is a
could.
pink one on there.
What? No, there's red.
No, it's pink. No.
That's red. That's clearly red.
Okay, seriously, I need to check my eyes then, because the one right there at the top in the middle, that's a pink.
Okay.
That's pink.
Viewers, is there something wrong with Kelly's eyes, or is that pink?
Okay, so in the
feel
middle,
like I could
the
rock
top
this.
is pink, and down on the second row, over to the left-hand side, is red. There's two. There's red and pink.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
good.
there's the pink one. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I didn't even see that. There's pink on this picture, but they don't have it as an option. They just have red, blue, and silver.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they have pink.
Kelly is blind. What?
I think you were looking at it separately from the shared screen that I'm doing right now. Like that's what's going on. Because
Really? Oh, that's Kyle.
that's the
Sorry.
wrong one.
Yeah, Kelly is blind
Yeah.
because she actually had that.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm really happy that True North Arms is doing that because
Yeah.
It's good selection, and I think that I like that we have a couple of stores that have lots of these little parts because it's hard to find this stuff, and I hate buying from the U.S. and like, am I going to get nailed for import duties on the way in? Is shipping going to be like a lot more than I thought it was going to be? I'd much rather buy from a Canadian source when I can, and yeah, I'm glad that they're carrying that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I got for new gun stuff.
Okay, cool. Why don't we get into tonight's main topic? Hey, everybody, for tonight's main topic, we have Travis Bader on, and he's from Silvercore, the Silvercore podcast. I just wanted to say thanks, Travis, for coming on tonight.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Adriel. Really, really happy to be here.
Well, we've been trying to get you on for quite a while, and we were super excited that you've been able to come on. I've been listening to you actually from the beginning. So,
really?
The beginning, yeah, I was one of your first subscribers.
I'm flattered. I am flattered.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let everybody know that Silvercore podcast is actually a really, really good podcast. It's how do I say this? The quality and the editing is much better than we have.
I feel like you're directly throwing me under the bus with that comment, Kelly, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Adriel, do you want to edit? Nah, we're just going to put it in. But
let it run. Let it ride.
Yeah, you tend to have some really quality guests on, and they're subject matter experts, like what you talk about. And the other thing is too, with your guest, I don't hear any dead air or anything like that. You do a really good job with keeping the flow going. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell everybody about Silvercore podcast? When did it start, and why did you come up with it?
Well, about a year and a half ago, I'd actually never really listened to podcasts before, aside from getting a Christmas gift of going to see Steve Ranella produce his podcast live in Washington. So went across the border and checked it out, got to meet and greet him and a few of the other crew, which is pretty cool. And I thought, this podcasting thing, I knew nothing about it really at the time. And another friend said, do you want to be on my podcast? So said, all right, a little nervous. He comes in, brings a couple beers in and set up some lav mics, and he interviews me. And I thought this was a lot of fun. And, after that podcast, he says, Trav, you should really start your own. So I bit the bullet and started getting some audio equipment. And I now have video equipment installed in the studio. And I think we're going to be, what is it? Almost coming up on episode 50. So we're nowhere near 405 like you guys, but
it's only been a year and a half. So, the 50 episodes is actually really, really good.
Yeah, we release every 2 weeks on Tuesdays. Recently, I've started just releasing every week because the content's starting to pile up. And there was some topical content that I wanted to make sure I got out there.
Yeah.
The recent one with the shootings of the Lower Mainland and basic urban awareness. So we did a part one on that.
So you specifically addressed situational awareness. You had a really good, he's been on your podcast a couple of times. He's somebody who is law enforcement or retired law enforcement,
right?
And talked about the situational awareness, and it was specific to the shootings that have been happening. And you've had a lot of shootings in the past few weeks actually there, and people aren't expecting it. And it was great to actually talk about what to do about it. So it was actually one of my favorite topics that you covered, and it's the most recent one. Did you say that it was going to be a series though?
It's going to
Like
be a part 1, 2, and 3. And
Yeah.
honestly, when we did that podcast, I sat down, and he's a really good friend of mine, Paul, and
Mhm.
he's 35-year veteran of the Vancouver Police Department.
Mhm.
And he's the one who said, we should do something, talk about basic situational awareness, and maybe people will find some value in that, because that's one thing that I keep harping on, which is, if I'm going to be asking people to dedicate an hour of their time to listen to me or listen to Silvercore podcast, I really want to make sure that I'm bringing them some form of value. And that's either going to be an entertainment or education, but something that they can leave with. So Paul says, well, let's do this urban awareness. And it's something that I've got a passion for. And man, I had reams of notes. And when Paul started talking, I was like, okay, there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to get through.
Yeah,
Right?
and he just flowed, didn't he?
He is so good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a great voice, and he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
And so we said, well, let's break it down before, during, and after the incident. So we did the before. We're going to touch on a little bit more of the before, and then get into during, and then we're going to get into an after. So it's 2 more podcasts on the subject.
So one of the most favorite things that I got from that podcast, or that specific one about the urban awareness, was the different color system.
Right.
And not only that, you were talking about it from the point of view of what to be aware of, and then also how it flips. So if you're in the situation, how to actually, the person that's perpetrating whatever it is also actually is in that color system as well.
Right.
So the criminals, especially when you're in the black. So it was really interesting for me. From what I do for a living, I actually was able to relate to the subject, or what was being talked about. But I think that somebody who has no idea about anything, whether it's violence, shooting, etc., would be so this would be stuff that they need to be aware of, because usually you guys were talking about, walking down the street, looking at your phone, no eye contact, or if there is contact. That's actually another good point you guys made, was eye contact. Make sure that the person that is there knows that you actually see them, but also if you're seeing them, it might be seen as aggression as well. So
it's a tightrope.
Yeah. So it's that, but it was probably one of my favorite episodes so far that you've had. Another one that was actually a really good one was you had Hank Shaw on. So Hank Shaw, for those people that don't know him, is a James Beard Award winner. He's a chef, and there's James Beard, and there's like a Michelin star, and these are like really, really
it's like the
high
Oscars.
accolades. Yeah, it's like the Oscars for. But do you want to tell us a little bit about Hank Shaw, about what he does? Like, you guys had a great conversation about it too. So
this is the second time today that I've talked about Hank Shaw. And actually, I'll be on a Zoom call with him tomorrow. He's helping out with one of our courses. He's a friend, and it was funny because we did a podcast. I did a podcast earlier today with Kevin Coswin, who's a producer for a couple shows. It's and the chef on the show as well, Paul, From the Wild and Wild Harvest, and he's also been James Beard Award nominated for that. But anyways, with the Hank Shaw one, first time I met him was in California, and he took me and my wife out foraging in the Sierra Nevada mountain range.
Yeah. So my question is, so you went foraging for mushrooms. Have you actually told anybody where that place is? Because that's one of the things he made you swear on.
Nope. Told nobody. Told nobody.
Because he would cut you off.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. And as we're driving to the first location that we're going to, and he's in his little Subaru there, and I decided I jumped in the back seat. My wife's in the front, and Hank turns around and says, "Oh, if you're hungry, I got some salmon collars back there." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I look over. I didn't realize this was his lunch. And so by the 20-minute car ride that we're on, I polished off all of the salmon collars that he had in the back seat. Oh well, I don't regret it.
Yeah. No.
They were fantastic.
So he has a cookbook out, by the way, everybody. You should go and buy it. But he's somebody actually like you were talking about, he forages, and then anything that is fish or anything that is he's been able to hunt, he'll cook it and award-winning chef. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. Is he coming on again? You're going to have him on again? Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
So to backtrack just a little bit. So Silvercore podcast, you originally started out, you changed your logo as well, by the way, right?
For the podcast, yes.
Yeah.
And so the original swirl, the Silvercore swirl, was one that I created back in, I started doing the core business of what Silvercore does back in 94. I was in high school at the time and was doing the training on the weekends and doing that once a month and shutting down in the summertime. Started up Silvercore Gunworks, and then in 03 started Silvercore Training, fully incorporated. And I thought the original swirl kind of looked like an S and a C. And I took my grandfather, Silver Armineau, who's a Vancouver police detective, and my other grandfather, Cornelius Bader, and I did a little portmanteau and took the silver and the core, stuck them together, spelt core a little differently. And that's what I came up with the name there. But yeah, a friend of mine who he actually started off as an instructor for Silvercore and then helped out with some of our marketing, and he's gone on to other jobs and we've remained friends, but he created this logo here for us. That's Mike Eckers.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So before, I do want to talk to you about Silvercore Training because it's part of what you do and you do so much. And like when you go through your website, it's like, wow, it's just incredible. But when we go back to the Silvercore podcast, so you initially came out as a hunting, fishing, and outdoors, but you actually do put in relevant topics, not just about hunting, fishing, and the outdoors.
So I'll let you know a little secret. I got just a tad of ADHD. And that tends to keep me bouncing around and doing a bunch of different things. And I started the Silvercore podcast because I wanted to do something that challenged me, number one. Okay. And number two, having been in this industry for such a long time, and you see the ups and the downs, you see the good and the bad, at some point, the politics behind everything, and there can be negativity. It can kind of get you down. And I wanted to bring some positivity into the firearms world and into the hunting world and fishing. And I thought, well, I'll do the Silvercore podcast. Terrible name, by the way, for a podcast. It says nothing about what we do. Slamfire. I got an idea. You guys are probably going to be talking about firearms. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm hoping in the long run, it's going to give me a little bit of latitude to be able to talk about a wide array of different things. And if someone tunes in and I'm talking about something they're not interested, they can tune out. But it gives us a little bit more latitude, I think.
I think that you're not funneling yourself into something that's specific. You do talk, like, look at, I just said you had something about situational awareness, and now you have somebody who is a award-winning chef on. And one of the other shows that I really, really liked was Ryan Stacy came on from IBI Barrels. Yes. And you were talking about how to make your rifle more accurate, and he was talking about barrels, but one of the side he was talking about the Carcano, which was really, it hit I was going, oh, okay. So I started listening to it, and he was talking. So he, being Ryan, was talking about the Carcano and how he has some ideas about what had happened with the grassy knoll, etc. So everybody who knows the Carcano knows about JFK. So and then a couple of weeks later, Adriel buys a Carcano, and I said, you gotta listen you gotta listen to Silvercore because Ryan Stacy's on it and he's talking about the Carcano. Now, I had asked you, are you gonna do another episode with Ryan and the whole what his thoughts and feelings are about the grassy knoll? Because he said it's a whole different podcast he was gonna go, or episode. Yeah. So what's going on with that?
So the answer to that is we are, and we did. Okay. So it's a twofold answer. I still have all of the audio. I'm going to be going through it. What we did was, at that time, we were filming a quick promo video for IBI. And so Ryan and I went out and we're showing off the carbon fiber barrels that they're making, sweet barrels. And we needed to do a little bit of voiceover work back in the studio here. And I said, well, tell you what, if you're coming in to do the voiceover work, I was able to track down a JFK Pro. This guy's published. He's written articles on it. He's traveled in the States and in Canada, lecturing and talking on it. I tracked him down. Let's get him in here. Ryan's like, absolutely. Game, let's do it. The fellow came in and he was perhaps a little bit heavier on the conspiracy side than we were originally
Less
anticipating.
on the okay.
So I'm going to go through it and see if it's usable. I want it to be something of value for the listeners, and I also don't want it to be something. If I have a guest on my show, I want them to feel comfortable that they're not
Yeah.
going to be leaving embarrassed, and I want to make sure it's going to be something that stands up. If it isn't, we're definitely going to revisit it because Ryan, man, Ryan's a sharp guy.
Oh, he
And
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got some great ideas and thoughts on that whole process, which really makes sense. And if I might even just be able to pull that out of the podcast, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking forward to that episode. It might be one of my new ones as well. So, all right. So you have some let's, for lack of a better term, you have an eclectic mix of topics and guests. And by the way, as I said, it's industry. You have a lot of actually technical and industry experts on there too. So if people want to actually come on, or sorry, if people want to listen, you're going to get, as you said, like IBI. Ryan has so much information about barrels and shooting and getting the most. Well, he's only been 6 times national champion for, service rifles. So he probably knows a little bit about shooting and getting accuracy, right?
Yeah. Well, we try to find people who know what they're talking about and have an interesting story. And the biggest things that we are looking for is somebody who has a passion for what they do and wants to share that passion. And if we can do that in a positive way, because sometimes we do touch on some topics that are going to be a little bit more politically charged.
Yep.
And I mean, if you want to get ratings and rankings, talk about that kind of stuff. That's a surefire way. It's just not where I want to take the podcast. I want people to listen to it and feel better and maybe be inspired. Yeah. So, yeah, we've had a number of different experts. In fact, we've got, and you guys have had Ian Runkle on the podcast as well. Yeah. Great guy. We've opened one up for the Silvercore Club members and said, if you had a question that you could ask a lawyer who has an innate background for firearms law, what would you ask?
Yeah.
So we got a whole slew of questions, but we'll be recording that one shortly. And I think that'll be a very, there's a lot of questions that people tend to ask over and over again. And that should be a really good one.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about if Ian came on the show and we opened it up to our listeners, I'm going, are we pushing the boundaries of what's legal? But it's good. I'm really looking forward to that one too. Obviously, Ian is also a friend of the show and he's been on several times, so it will be interesting. Great. Yeah, and he's also a personal friend as well. So,
and he's got such a great perspective on things.
Oh, I know. Too. Yeah, yeah. It's quite good. So, I wanted to ask you about the guests that you've had. Have you, or subject matters that you've had that you think are your favorites or anything? So if somebody is not familiar with Silvercore podcasts, which ones are your favorites that you think people should really go and listen to?
I've made a few, all the clips that we see on the Silvercore YouTube channel right now are ones that I've created. A couple of years ago, I said, I'm going to figure out how to use the Adobe Suite, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Audition, After Effects, all of these different things. I still don't know how to use it, but I can kind of get some content out. So some of the more popular ones in my mind, I've made little video trailers or intros to. And Colin Dowler is one of them. He survived a horrific grizzly bear attack by using his little folding buck knife while he was in the air, in the grizzly bear's jaws, and he gave it a poke in the neck. And that was a rather emotional podcast with about at least half of it on the cutting room floor for continuity. It reached a point when I was sitting there and I said, look, I know I flew in, I'm at your location here. We don't have to do this. I'll take you out for lunch. Let's go do something else. He says, no. The information I have here could save somebody else, save their life.
Yeah.
And he soldiered on. That was a really good one. I mean, Mark Horsley, he's staff sergeant, friend of mine, VPD. And he was he shot the FBI possible. He was down in Quantico, Virginia, using his service pistol. They call it the possible because it's not impossible,
Yeah,
right?
but it's almost impossible.
Basically, he shot that. Did very well, top of his class. I think he's the only one on that intake to be able to shoot it. Suffers a horrific motorcycle accident. He's got traumatic brain injury. Can only see his wife and kids for, I think, about an hour a day, if that, within this one window. Otherwise, he's locked up in a dark room while the brain heals, and comes around to represent Canada in PPC over in the Australia. I mean, really inspirational stories. That's one. Colin Dowler, the inventor of the invisible. Sorry, not Colin Dowler. Guy Kramer. Guy Kramer, the inventor of the invisible cloak. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I didn't see that one. I should probably go and check
brilliant.
it out now.
He's brilliant, but I wouldn't believe it until he brought it in. And a lenticular lens array that refracts light, and you disappear, but your background doesn't. So there's a number that tend to stick out. Yeah, we had just recently Nikki Van Schindel, and she was on Alone, Discovery Channel's Alone, and talking about surviving 51 days in the Arctic.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, some really great content there. So we suggest people go out and check out the podcast, but also look at the YouTube content as well. Any exciting guests that are coming up that you want to talk about?
Let's see. I usually don't pre-announce the guests that I have here, other than I already let the cat out of the bag about what we're doing with Ian. But our members already know about that.
Yeah.
We've got a couple people on the maybe list that have said yes, we're keen, we're on board, we'll do it, but we just haven't locked down yet. A couple of rather big names, and big names period, not just in the industry. So I'll keep it under wraps. I tend not to like to talk things up until it happens. Out of fear of jinxing it.
Okay, so in other words, just tune in. You'll let us know when it's coming up.
Just subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Let's talk about Silvercore training now. So to go back a little bit, you were talking about you founded it quite a while ago, and it's evolved significantly. So what types of things? So before we get to the training specifically, where are you located?
Lower Mainland. I live in Ladner, so I got a little training facility. You might hear some students clomping around upstairs and shop in the back. This, where I am right now, is my old office. I've turned into the podcast studio, and then where all the Silvercore staff would be is just outside the office here, which I've turned into a bit of a production studio for our online training. So it's a 10-minute drive from my house, and then a 10-minute walk from my house. We've taken over a old heritage building, over 100 years old, and that's where the office is out of now. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So you can actually, when you go onto the website, you can see that you do specific training, and you do it for, you break it down. So let's talk about it. There's stuff that's available for government. There's stuff that's, so why don't you tell us what you do for training? What options are available?
So we kind of do the gamut. We've got, when I was 18 years old, I got hired on by an armored car company. And I was like, hey, this will be great. I'll get to carry a gun. I'm interested in firearms, and worked there for about a year and a half, and decided, I like the training side of this. I want to be able to train private security. So we do federal use of force and firearms training for private security. We do work with companies like DFO, Ministry of Forests, Chevron, Geological Survey Canada, Tech Cominco, or I guess it's just Tech now. No, they're just Cominco now. Anyways, Parks Canada, BC Parks. We do work on, let's say, predatory animal training, awareness, lethal and less lethal deterrence. I was fortunate enough when I was reached out to many years ago to put together a bear training course. I said, well, I know the firearm side. I've been around guns since I've been 4 years old. I got my first gun when I was around 4 years old. Little Stevens favorite, little takedown 22, custom made for my small frame. But the bear side, I'm no expert in that. So I reached out to Stephen Herrero, who's an author and bear expert, and I reached out to Gary Shelton, and Gary says, Trav, I'm not really doing the training much anymore. I have this complete program I've put together, published author, and here, you use it, build upon that. And it turned out that he was my wife's aunt's next door neighbor. That didn't hurt either. Right? So,
it's the 6 degrees of Trevor Bacon. Okay.
Yes. We do safety course training, hunter education training. We hold the contract providing the provincial online hunter education training.
Yeah.
We do
defense, personal defense.
Personal defense, yeah. Some combatives work. That's hasn't been the most from a professional side. Definitely demand there. From the private side, it's not as much of a demand.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
So you talked a little bit about bear, etc. You do a lot of courses online. Are you doing more online because of COVID? Have you flipped that switch, or is it stuff that you've always done?
Yeah, 2005 is when I first met with some analysts back east from the Canadian Firearms Program. I said, "Look, you guys got to start getting with the times here and start putting some content online." I mean, the firearms safety course is one of the things that we offer, but if that could be something that's free or freely accessible to the general public and reduce that as a barrier to entry to firearms ownership, holy crow, that'd be fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong. I catch heat from other instructors for even mentioning this, a lot of heat. There'll be anonymous letters that are written. There's going to be angry emails, but my passion is I love to train, and I love bringing people into things that I enjoy, just like what you guys are doing. Yeah. And the idea of creating a business model around a government regulated, essentially barrier to entry has never really sat right with me. So online training is something that we've worked forwards towards for a very long time. And I think it was 2015 when through Newswire, we put out the first press release about the very first hybrid Canadian firearm safety course, where you do your theory online and you come in and you see an instructor and you do your practical training and theory review and do all your testing in a properly invigilated area. And we were able to run a few of those before new legislation came in that said all training must be, new policy came in, all training must be done in a classroom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, online training, I think in-person training, obviously you get the flavor from the instructor.
Yeah, you do.
You get there's a lot of great benefits to it. But when you have people living in remote areas of Canada who just
it's hard.
Yeah.
You need to be able to offer this, and especially things like you do offer the online courses like a bear defense and all those other ones that you specifically. I'm not going to see a bear here in Kingston, Ontario. Well, I actually might, but specific ones that are for those more remote regions as well. The other courses that you offer, more of the range live fire ones, we constantly we get feedback from our listeners. Do you know about handgun fundamentals courses? Do you know about if anybody is actually doing shotgun, carbine, or Adriel and I both get the marksmanship courses or questions. You offer all of that as well.
We do. We're very fortunate to have some very well qualified instructors who are passionate about training. We do a lot of that work for government and private security. And then the general public, we have courses that, we took a model. Essentially, if you want to be a police officer, your firearms training block is going to consist of certain things. If we can give the same kind of training, but maybe gear it towards a sport aspect as opposed to calling it tactical. Then we put together level 1, level 2, level 3 training courses for the general public. There's the way to make a business model off of that on the general public side is get a lot of butts in the seats, get a lot of people pumping through and have the cost up higher. We took a different approach. I don't look at those training courses as something that is going to be a big money maker for Silvercore, but it's something that people keep asking for. It keeps people happy. And by the time you pay for range rental and insurance and all the things that are involved. We've got a full set of firearms for the class that they can use, and if they don't have their own, it really is more a labor of love on that aspect, but I think it helps fill a need. And there are other companies that are coming out that are doing more and more firearms training. I think Veritech is a local one that started doing it, and they seem to be getting some good reviews as well.
Cool. So let's talk about Silvercore Gun Club.
All right.
All right, let's do it. So
All
tell
right.
me all about it and what's the benefits of being part of the gun club.
So Silvercore Gun Club. Now, this is, I think I've only told the story once before, and I don't know if anyone is really even listening.
Okay.
So
there's people listening. They're making comments.
Yeah, there you go. So Silvercore Gun Club, I think it was 2004, 2005, right around then. And a fellow working for the Firearms Center, firearms program, says, Trav, there is a bit of an issue back east. A kid brought a firearm into school, and nobody got hurt. Never came out of the backpack. It was, I think it was an elementary school, a bit of a show and tell thing. But we're going to have a big meeting. Every firearms officer's got to go back east, and we're having a meeting about this. I'll let you know what it's all about. He came back and said, sorry, Trav, can't tell you. We had to sign non-disclosures. But what I can say is that there is a three-pronged approach to limiting legal firearms ownership in Canada. Legal, not illegal, but legal firearms ownership. And shortly thereafter came out the policy requirement to belong to a gun club or a range to have your ATT issued. And of course, when the ATTs started to get amalgamated in with their PAL, they said, well, if you've got restricted endorsement, we're going to have to see your range membership for your renewals or for the issuance. Anyways, at the time I looked at it, and I looked at the act, and I looked at the regulations, and I said, I don't think you guys can do that. I don't see anywhere in there that gives you the lawful authority to be able to do that. I said, tell you what, I'm going to fight it. Right. And he says, Travis, it'll get tied up in the courts for years. It's going to cost, we've got unlimited money. You don't, right? It's going to cost a lot. He said, why don't you just start a club? So, okay. I thought it had to be arranged. He says, no gun club arranged. So I talked to the lawyers. I said, you know, that money we had, we're going to fight this. Let's see about setting up a club. So I set up a club. I think it was $5 or $10 to belong to it, strictly to provide a service for the firearms community to be able to meet this requirement from the firearms program. And that was it. And I made zero money off of that. It's a nonprofit, and ran it at a total loss for a very, very long time because it had the name Silvercore in it. I thought, hey, this is going to be good promotion for the other stuff that we do. So over the years, we've then brought in insurance, 10 million in liability insurance throughout North America. We got discounts. We got discounts at tons of places. I think we just picked up Phoenix flashlights. We can't advertise that discount, but if you're a member, you can log into the back end and see it. Climate, camping equipment, different gun stores, Reliable, Poco, Beard Supply, Splendid Master, SRS Tactical, Veritech Solutions, like the list goes on. And then we do club shoots, and we do postal shoots, and we got prize giveaways. We've got, Bradley Smokers is another one you get discounts on. And we've got another top of the line Bradley Smoker that's going to be given away here in a couple of months to one lucky club member. And then the shoots, we've barbecues and get-togethers and shoots. Primarily those ones are done in BC because that's where we are. But we do postal shoots as well, and the gun stores get behind it. We've had handguns and rifles and accessories given away by Silvercore and the other gun stores and sponsors that have been involved. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's still run as a nonprofit. It's what I think it's $49, and
people can join it, especially if they're having a hard time getting into. Okay, so Ontario clubs here, there's 3-4 year wait list to get into a club here. So yeah, so if you want to actually purchase a restricted, and the CFO is saying, which club do you belong to? It's like,
well, you guys are lucky because you had Daniel Belofsky.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was a Silvercore Club member, and he phones me up and says, hey, I'm getting the runaround over here. Trav, what can you do? I said, I'll help you. I'll help you any way I can. And Daniel, super smart guy, super tenacious. He took it to court, and because of his efforts that he put in, the requirement to belong to a gun club or range is not a requirement in your province.
That's
and,
correct.
And if we could do that in every single province, I'd be thrilled. And we get people saying, well, hold on a second. Isn't that slitting the throat of the club? No, the Silvercore Gun Club, if you look at the club as just a worker, if people only join the Silvercore Club as a workaround for a firearms programs policy, that'd be kind of pathetic.
Yeah, but
Really.
you have so much more that you offer to anybody that joins the club. Basically, as you
Right.
talked about, you've got, well, they have access to some information that other people don't have. You're releasing it to it, and
Right.
you're doing a service for actually all of these people as well. So it's awesome. Great
Thank
job.
you. Thank you very much.
Hey, do you want to talk about the contest that you're having?
Thank you very much, Kelly, for bringing it up. Man, I got heat on that one. I forgot to bring it up before. Yeah, you know what? We're Silvercore Club, and you don't even have to be a club member for this one.
Okay.
We are giving away a scholarship for a firefighter training scholarship. It's worth over $6,000. The training division in Texas is a training school that certifies people for their NFPA 1 and 2 and hazmat courses, everything you need in order to be able to apply with most fire departments. All the person has to do is get their butt down to Texas. All their room and board is covered. All their supply, everything is covered. So that's one that we are currently running, and I think we got about a week left on it. All anybody has to do is write on in and say, here's why I think I'd be a good candidate for that. And we'll just go through them all and try and find the most deserving person who could really use a win in their life. I mean, that's possibly life-changing for someone.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It is life-changing. And I was actually half tempted. I should do this. No,
Totally.
I've been totally blessed with some of the stuff that I have going on in my life. So somebody else more deserving should actually should get it. We have a comment here. Adriel, do you want to read it out?
Some clubs are so draconian, and what you have to do to join the club is ridiculous. Forced service to the club or pay them extra to buy out your time probation. Members can get booted out just because the full member wants your bench, even if others are available. It's like the clubs don't want new members; they just want the firearms community to end, or they're just trying to take as much money out of it as possible, right?
Yeah. Well, Travis, I'm not sure if you can actually help with that at all.
I could talk a little bit on that.
Okay.
And essentially, I look at the rules and regulations that firearms owners in Canada have to abide by, all the hoops that they have to jump through. And by the time that somebody becomes a licensed firearms owner, sometimes it kind of goes to their head a little bit, let's say. Like you go in the States and everyone and their grandma has a firearm, right? It's no big deal. We got a gun. Here we go. We go shoot it. In Canada, there seems to be a little bit of an elitist attitude by some in firearms ownership. Then you come into the gun clubs and they're under very strict regulations and constant threat of being shut down by either the RCMP firearms program because of some policy or some guideline, or the general public because of noise or whatever it might be. And they're deathly afraid of losing what it is that they have. And they tend to start creating their own rules, and they try and get in front and try and get a certain level of power, ownership, or control over their own environment. And sometimes that comes out sideways. They're so afraid of standing out in front of it and saying, there's nothing wrong with what we do. And it's a lot of fun. Come on out. And it can kind of put some people off. So my hope with the Silvercore Club is to work with other clubs, which we do, but I'd like to work with all clubs in Canada in order to create a more welcoming environment for people to be able to enjoy the sport and enjoy their passion.
Actually, we've talked about this a couple times this last week about how we can be more welcoming to new shooters, and we have to do it. And as you said, we have to be loud and proud, and there's nothing wrong with our sport. That's it.
I caught a lot of heat when I started the club. When some other clubs, when the new policy came in, they said, this is fantastic. Our club numbers were starting to dwindle. Now they have to join our club. this is great. Look at how many more members we're going to have and how much more money is going to come in. And, well-meaning enough, they want to have members. And they looked at the Silvercore Club and they said, well, now they're not going to join our club. I said, well, let's create value within your club. I'll send all of our members over to your place. I mean, let's run events and do something so that the value is there for the individual. So one fellow put it, he says, the problem with amateur sports is it's run by amateurs. And, fair enough, right? But it's a different perspective, and it's a very, very protective perspective. And I think that could be tough.
All you're going to get are the guys who want to own a handgun but not ever go to the range, though.
Yeah.
Because if they ever want to go to a range, you got to go to a club. So it's
right.
really a small selection of the overall shooting community that you're even going to get in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And there maybe there is a little bit of a point to getting more people in clubs so that they start to get into the shooting community rather than go shooting in the bush or all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to handguns, I guess they're not really giving up a super active member of the community anyways, right?
And that's exactly it. We find a lot of people join the club who just don't have access to the range. Yeah. It's too far away. Yeah. And now they've got this hoop they got to jump through, right? Or the range is booking 3 years in advance and they can't get in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually on the phone yesterday morning with a couple of ranges, very popular ones, about running a promotion for the Silvercore Club members to be able to get more people in their doors. And then we do, like I say, the club shoots and the postal shoots. We're all about supporting the firearms community in the general shooting community.
That's what you need to be. So thank you for
totally.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, Adriel, you jumped in about this, but do you have any other questions for Travis?
No. So I posted the link to Silvercore a little bit higher up there, but you've got the podcast, you got the training group, you've got YouTube channel. Any other social bits that we should follow? Instagram?
Yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
TikTok too.
Oh yeah,
I have that. Yeah.
I totally have to rethink the whole TikTok thing. I can see the path into
just spirals.
Yeah, I've just got to repost some of the Instagram stuff in 30-second clips and
yeah. Okay, so they can. So if they have topics they want to cover, they can reach you through any of those, correct?
They can, and they do. And podcasts at silvercore.ca or the head office, info@silvercore.ca, and even myself, Travis at silvercore.ca. I mean, we're very original with our email addresses.
Yeah.
But we do get a lot of participation from the listeners who are looking for whatever it might be. And we do our best to find an expert in that field to come in and talk to it.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. I was so excited when you said, "Yeah, I'll come on." So,
thank you very much. I was equally excited to be on here, Kelly. I really appreciate you organizing this, and you as well, Adriel. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Travis.
Yep. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. You take care.
Thanks. Once again, thanks to Travis Bader for coming on tonight's show and talking all about Silvercore. I'm so excited. I'm going to continue listening to. I just can't wait to. Yeah, his podcast. If you haven't checked it out already, go and do it because you won't be sorry.
I didn't hear him talk about using ocular pat downs as a security thing, but I'm pretty sure that's you look, if someone's coming at you, you look them dead in the eyes first. You perform an ocular pat down, see if they got any weapons.
Yeah.
And then you make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Ocular pat down.
Ocular. So when you're talking about the different levels of situational awareness, you can actually do that. You can look at the person and say, he's got something in his pants. Anyways.
Code fuchsia. This guy's packing.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember being down in Memphis and down on Beale Street, and the cops were there. And I was with Rick Kettebeck, and it was on our epic trip down to Texas. And we went down to Beale Street with a couple of friends of ours, and they concealed They concealed carry and would tell you who it was. Anyways, and the cops, there wasn't many people there because it was a little cooler because the Canadians came and they brought the cold apparently. Anyways, so when we were on Beale Street, the cops were there and standing at the corner, but they would actually do the ocular pat down that you were talking about. They could see actually whoever was carrying and who wasn't carrying, and they were watching them. So
I was just making like a silly Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference.
I know,
not
but
serious at all.
I actually brought it to, life experience.
Mm.
That was one of the best trips ever, by the way. I said 36 hours, but it was 32 hours locked in a car with Rick. It was hilarious. There was
Texas is awesome though. I love Texas.
Oh my God. Yeah, Texas is amazing. If you guys
Texas is the Alberta of the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. And the further you get, closer to the Mexican border, you get, we were pretty close to the Mexican border, actually. It was so good. We got really good Mexican food. It was
Just get better food. Closer to the border, you get more flavors, more spices.
More everything.
When they say it's spicy, you got to take them serious. They're not joking around.
No, they're not. If you get a chance, try the Mexican Coca-Cola too, because it's not made with sugar. It's made with Mexican sugar. It's good. I keep saying Mexican.
Cocaine.
Is that PC? Cocaine.
Sorry, that's nose candy. That's not sugar.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Why don't we get into listener feedback? Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, Cerakote finishes, as well as wood and steel refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms, accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. You can also check him out on the Facebook as well as Instagram. And I left this in this week because I think I haven't heard back from Denis, but I'm sure that he's still running this. So if you'd like to go and check out their Ruger 1022 combos in stock, it comes with a Verden Eon. Is it Eon? Eon 3-9 by 40 scope and has a hard plastic case. It's available with either the black synthetic stock or the hardwood stock. The regular price on it is $509.99. Okay, $510. But there's a discount for Slamfire Radio listeners. It's $450 for anyone who calls or sends Armory DC Gunsmith a message saying that you heard it on Slamfire Radio. See, you get benefits for listening to Slamfire Radio. Sweet. Do you want to read this one here from Josh? I actually asked Josh if we could post this, and he said, sure, go ahead. So anyways,
I haven't pre-read it, so I have no idea what I'm getting into, but I like it.
Okay.
Hey guys, I forgot to tell you about my experience. When the auction went live, I was all set up and ready. My customer profile had been made in advance, and I practiced navigating through the website. I knew all the tips and tricks to get through fast. When the auction went live, the scope that I wanted came up very quickly. A Strike Eagle 5-25. I clicked, then clicked a second time, and a third, and it was done. I had bought it. Only problem was I clicked on the wrong scope. Instead of a Strike Eagle, I'd clicked on a Razor Gen 3 instead. I forgot the price exactly, but it was multi-thousands. I did a quick research of Canadian prices and found that it was only about $500 under retail, or I would have stuck with it. I thought it was half of retail instead of half of MSRP. Two very different numbers. So I backed out of the purchase. I watched it go back up on the website, and it was bought by someone else in seconds. Overall, I was surprised I got an item, disappointed it was the wrong item, and I'm ready to try again for next year. Sent from my mobile device. Josh.
Oh, yeah. I just copied and pasted that piece. So
I wanted to read it, though.
Yeah. I know. So Josh was talking about Prophet River. Remember we were talking about Prophet River, and they were going to be doing the whole Vortex. So he was in on it. We totally forgot. But he got an item.
I think I went to the range. Not to brag, but I just go to the range so often I just forget stuff on the weekends. I'm just so busy going to the range.
I was sleeping. No, I didn't get in on it, but Josh did. So congratulations to him. He's going to try it. It's more than once a year. I think they do it like twice a year or something like that.
Yeah,
I'll just have to watch
next time.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to bring up the next thing as well?
Yeah, we just released all of our host interviews are now on YouTube. and we want your feedback. So send it to us on slimefireradio@gmail.com. Let us know if you want us to read it, or if it's just like one-to-one feedback on what you liked or didn't like about the different hosts. And I think we're gonna make a decision next week.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, we'd like to hear from you guys what you think of the potential new co-hosts. So send us an email.
And if you're a Patreon, you got to see them a little bit early.
I know. See, again, there's benefits with being a member.
Finally, we did something for Patreons.
I'm a Patreon.
We did something.
I got to see it early, but I also got to see it early
There
because
was
it was
issues
actually happening at the time. What?
Yeah, you were on the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I knew what was happening. But anyways. But and also Chris K, Chris W, thank you for actually pointing out and redirecting us when we had some issues with releasing it to the
man, what a pain in the butt that was. So
Yeah.
like YouTube, if it's unlisted, people can see it, but if it's scheduled, they put it to private and then no one can see it. So we had it on I scheduled for the YouTube, I scheduled for the Patreon, and then that just broke everything. I failed.
You did not
failed
fail.
the listeners.
You got it. You got it up and working. It was fine.
It did.
It was good.
After a while. And then I broke it again. And then I fixed it. Actually, it broke itself. Anyways, who cares?
Yeah, but you fixed it. Okay. So, as we said, we'd like to hear from you, whether it's just actual regular feedback or if you have watched the co-hosts. Send the email to slimefireradio@gmail.com. Patronies. Well, you just got some content. Yay! Anyways. If you'd like to support the show, you can actually do so by going over to patreon.com. Look for Slamfire Radio. We'd love to actually have you on board as Patreon supporters, so that we can send this content to you every week. If you do become a Patreon, we'll send you out some swag as well. So don't forget to send us an email. Adriel will make sure that his kids, work hard to get it out to you soon. Right?
It might go to your neighbors, but it'll go in the mail.
Awesome. All right. Do you have any shout outs, Adriel?
Not this week.
Okay. So my big shout out is to Travis Bader because he's amazing. And I just love listening to him. I actually go to sleep to him now as opposed to us. Remember when I used
voice a little bit more soothing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I also want to I know this is going to be totally piss people off, but I want to give a shout out to Doug Ford for finally opening up the ranges in Ontario. That's it.
I love how the conservative premiers can't catch a break because they get it from both sides.
I know.
There's so many people in Alberta just furious with Kenny because either he's restricted too much or restricted too little, and people are just so pissed on both sides. It's hilarious.
Yeah. You just typed something, so do you want to actually?
Oh yeah, shout out to Bullseye North. So they sent that that Keystone to me to review, and like I said in the video, it's not something I'd normally test out, and I think a lot of people are curious about it, and now they've got a video that shows size and shows the weight of it and whatnot. I actually had one commenter say yeah, I'd seen pictures of it and that kind of thing, but it didn't really the scale of it didn't make sense, and it wasn't until in the video where you could see it being used by a kid or by next to me that it really made sense. Oh yeah, that's the scale of the thing. Yeah. So I'm happy that I got that out. It's adorable. I don't call Ben's adorable very often, but holding adorable. It is so adorable.
That's so cute. Yeah, I think that again, you're doing a video for something that's not really out there, so you're providing that service, but
it is that P226 versus Breda 92. No one has ever covered that topic before. Not that way, at least.
Yeah. Your videos are getting cool, so just want to say
they're gonna get weirder.
They're gonna get weirder. Oh gosh, thanks for that. What was I gonna ask? I can't remember. Anyways, all right, everybody. Go on over to Gun Owners Canada. We have a link there, so go and actually you can chat with us. By the way, you just don't have to click on the link and view it. You can actually chat with us, and we'll chat back with
stuff
you.
Over there too.
Yeah. You have your own separate link too, but we also have the Slamfire Radio. But go over to say hi to Adriel and the Hunting Your Guy too. Give us a like on Facebook, and also send us a review if you'd like as well. We have that up and running now on Facebook. Join the CCFR, and we'll see you next week. Oh, by the way. Everybody's got to tune in next week. We got some gooders on next week. We've got some great guests. We had Travis today, and next week we got some people from Milcon coming on to talk about mental management. So we got Keith Cunningham and also Linda. So it's exciting. That's going to be a really exciting one.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And maybe we'll make an announcement about who our new co-hosts are, and maybe we might even have a guest host on as well. Maybe
Busy.
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 So everybody, see you next week.